exploring AI's transformative power through hands-on learning for societal impact.
Um, I do think with any technology, we have to be always diligent about like what are the potential harms and what are the potential values, and how can we create this balanced view of no technology has zero side effects. So it's not something that we have no experience with. We know that a lot of the drugs that we have in order to recover from illnesses do have side effects, and by being clear about what are these, studying them diligently, trying to understand, to minimize the negative side effects, trying to communicate very honestly about what are these potential side effects. All of these pieces that we actually developed quite a bit in the medical field can leverage when it comes to AI.
All right, so we're going to come back to AI in a minute. Next, I want to talk about, I think a month ago, you did a webinar in Cairo. It's a Cairo college. Can you talk about that? You remember what I'm talking about? But like 30 days in Cairo is, what was it? I think it was in Cairo. The webinar, Dr. Ammar will draw on experience with AI, Microsoft. You remember what I'm talking about? It's
Yeah,
an
absolutely.
impact challenge, what it was.
Yeah,
Also,
impact challenge. Absolutely. So basically, there's a transformational time that happens for people towards the end of their degrees in engineering in many schools, including Egyptian schools. I'm from Egypt. I grew up in Egypt, so I want to pay back. But it's a program that we can do everywhere, and we plan to do everywhere eventually. The idea is that you take for a number of years courses and like information, knowledge that you pack in your brain, you pack on your computer, and you do all these sorts of exercises. And then there's the capstone project in the US. We call it capstone, or in Egypt we call it graduation project. Every country has a name for it, apparently, and basically it's a culmination of all these skills that you develop to work on something for a number of months. And it's such a good opportunity to like rehearse, do the experiential learning. Experiential learning is the idea that we don't just read and memorize and solve exams. That's not the most effective way to actually like practice and drill down the skills that you need. While this is useful and valuable, in order to actually have the skill, in order to be able to claim expertise or experience, you want to deliberately practice the skills that you are trying to acquire. And that deliberate practice I call experiential learning. So oftentimes, all the courses I teach, every once in a while I teach at University of Washington, various courses related to artificial intelligence and linguistics. And basically, experiential learning is how I try to integrate what students are learning in class with the skills that they need in order to actually do their jobs in the industry. And that's by achieving this, you are essentially creating a more functional society. So much of the graduates, so many of the graduates, STEM and other programs, graduate and find themselves unable to perform, and very often they go on a different path. So kind of like a waste of their time. So there's nothing happens with no reason. So there's probably some value to what they learn. But what I'm saying is, in order to channel to capitalize on this knowledge and the years that people spent in education, I wanted to nudge more of our graduates to build the experiential learning experience that's needed to make a transformation in their own mind and also for the society around them. So part of the impact challenge was picking the problem that will actually benefit the society. And then the other part is designing a solution that is based on the latest scientific literature and will enable some kind of change in your society, however small it is.
And is this the same thing as the Global AI Summit, or those two different conferences?
I would love to talk about the Global AI Summit because it was not on my radar, to be honest, but I got an invitation to participate.
And this was in the Middle East somewhere?
It was in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in Riyadh. It was my first time in Riyadh for like 20 years. I actually grew up in Riyadh, so there's a significant, like historical connection that I have with this country and with Riyadh in particular. And going back, it felt like I'm going to a different country. Honestly, my first day there, I was shocked by how much the country has changed. And reading, of course, we all like heard the news, because it was making, like the front pages, Vision 2030 of Saudi Arabia. It was actually in 2016, around the time when we had, kind of like a lot of interesting political drama in the US. It felt like the country is being divided. And I think it's impressive to see how Saudi Arabia has been very focused on diversifying their economy from just reliance on oil to a variety of science-based.
And that's mainly from, I don't know his name, like that does a crown prince does that's driving all that change, right? I have his face in my mind. I have no idea what his name is, but he's a driving force mainly, right? That crown prince.
Exactly, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
Okay, yeah, he's like the driving force, like modernize the country, economic diversification, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I would say, having spent um, a few weeks there, I can tell you it definitely dissipated to the society. I see a spark in people's eyes that tell me that they are excited, that they are working hard to achieve a vision that they actually believe in. And that's something that, it's inspiring to see people, an entire generation who is trying to make a substantial change and progress in their society. And, it is actually something that they're not trying to do just for themselves, but for the world as a whole. So this is kind of like it connects, like this idea is connected to the history and the tradition in Saudi Arabia and in the Arab world and in the Islamic world. Of course, there's a lot of like misinformation about those regions, but the culture itself has very much a desire to spread prosperity everywhere. So that's kind of like the goal, like on the long term.